We're going to be talking about IceWave patches now and how you can best use them to help relieve the pain of others. Now, one of the things that's important when you're working with someone that's suffering with pain is to make sure you ask them the right questions. So we're going to do a walkthrough of this now so you have a good idea of what questions to ask and why. So first, you meet someone that's suffering with pain. Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm okay, but I have some pain.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Whereabouts is your pain?
My pain is in my lower back.
And how long have you been suffering with this pain?
I've had this pain for a few months now.
A few months, okay. And are you in pain right now?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so please go ahead and point to where your pain is.
My pain is in my lower back right here.
Okay, now what we're going to do is apply a tan patch right at the location of the pain. And if you'll notice, we asked a few questions to clarify this. So first, we wanted to know where the pain was. Is she in pain now? Because we don't want to apply the patches. If someone's not in pain, we're not going to know if it worked or not. We also wanted to find out, was this a pain that was more recent or has it been going on longer? Because that will tend to affect how we're going to apply the patches. Next, it's very important that you have the person point to where the pain is so you get the point exactly correct. Now, this is going to be the clock method that we're going to use, and you apply the tan patch directly on top of the pain, and you start with the white patch above it. Now, the exact distance between the two is not important. If it's 3 inches or 6 inches, that's okay. The important thing is that it's about that distance away. Now, after you apply the patches, you don't need to wait very long, maybe just a few seconds, and then you go back and you ask the person, has there been any change in the level of pain? So now, Maddie, let's say that 0 is no pain and 10 is the level of pain that you started with. Has there been any change?
Yes, my pain has dropped to about a 7.
Okay, fantastic. So we've had a 30% reduction in the level of pain, but I'm not satisfied with that yet. I'd like to get better pain relief. So let's go ahead and move the patches to the next location. And it's called the clock method or the cross method because we're simply going to be moving that white patch around the area of pain, and we're going to move the white patch around the tan patch. So think of the tan patch as being the center of the clock, and now the white patch is at the 3 o'clock position. We started at the 12, and now it's at 3 o'clock. So now again, we don't have to wait very long. And now, Maddie, 0 is no pain. We started at a 10. Your pain came down to a 7. Has there been any change?
Yes, my pain is now only at a 4.
Okay, fantastic. We're really doing great. The pain level is at a 4. I'm still not satisfied though. I think we can do a little bit better. So let's move the patches one more time. And now we're going to go to the 6 o'clock position. And that's putting the white patch just below the tan one. And now we can go back again and ask. So 0 is no pain. We started at a 10. We got down to a 7, then to a 4. Has there been any change?
Yes, my pain is completely gone. I'm at a 0 now.
Okay, fantastic. So now when the pain is at a 0, we can stop. And if you'll notice, what we did was we left only half the adhesive being used. That's so we can more easily move the patches around. So what we would do at this point is remove the backing from both the tan and the white patch and then affix them to those locations. You're also going to notice that we are applying patches to the top of the clothing, and this is perfectly fine. The patches will reflect infrared light, and infrared light travels easily through clothing. So in this example, you can easily apply the patches to the top of the clothing and expect to get pain relief. But of course, if you're using IceWave by yourself, apply the patches directly to the skin, unless of course you're allergic to the adhesive, and then you would apply it on top of the clothing. But that's a very simple and easy way to use the IceWave patches for pain relief using the clock method. The IceWave clock method is an incredibly powerful way that you can help to relieve pain in yourself or in others. But when working with someone, there is a proper way to use the clock method, so let's talk about it now. And one of the things that you need to know is that when you're working with someone, what you say to them is very, very important because it's going to help to improve your results. So, Maddie, I understand that you have been suffering with some pain.
Yeah, a few weeks ago in the gym, I hurt my shoulder and it just hasn't felt the same since.
Okay, and are you in pain now?
I am.
Okay, so please go ahead and point to where the pain is.
The pain is right here, right on the outside of my shoulder.
Okay, so what we're going to do is the person that we're working with, we want to make sure that they're in pain now, because if they're not, you're not going to know if the product is working for them or not. You also want to find out, is this a more recent injury or something they've had for many years? Because that's going to affect how you use the patches. And we want the person also to point to where the pain is. That way we're going to guarantee that we've got the tan patch directly on top of the pain. Now, the next thing we're going to do is take the white IceWave patch. You'll notice that with both of these, we're only using half of the adhesive. And that's important because we want to be able to easily move the patches around when we're using them. So it's called the clock method because the tan patch is the center of the clock and the white patch is going to be put at different positions. So let's go ahead and apply the white patch up on top of the shoulder. May be a little difficult to see on camera right now, but it's on top of the shoulder. We're going to pick a position that's 3 to 6 inches away from the tan patch. And now, Maddie, let's say 0 is no pain and 10 is the pain that you started with. Has there been any change?
I haven't felt any change yet. It's still at a 10.
Okay. Another thing that we can do is we can ask her to move her arm and shoulder around. And do you still feel the same level of pain?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So, not to panic because we have a number of ways that we can apply the patches. So now what we're going to do is move the white patch to a different location and we'll move it down over here. So this would be the 12 o'clock position on the clock and that would be the 3 o'clock position as an example. So now Maddie, 0 is no pain. You started at a 10. We didn't get any change the first time, so has there been any change in your level of pain now?
There still really isn't any change.
Okay, and just move your arm around and tell me if there's any difference.
Not really. I'm still in a lot of pain.
Okay, so now we've tried the patches at 2 different locations and we haven't been able to get any pain relief yet. So now we're going to move the patch again, and this would be the 6 o'clock position. Now we have 2 different options here when it's a problem with the shoulder that's actually very interesting. We could use the standard method and we could apply the white patch just a few inches below the tan one, but one of the things that we found is that if you keep going down a little bit further, there's a pressure point right on the back of the wrist that works remarkably well at relieving pain. So we're still applying it at the 6 o'clock position, but because the pain is up on the shoulder, we're going to use this point on the back of the wrist. So now, Maddie, I'd like you to move your arm around and tell me, 0 is no pain. You started at a 10. Has there been any change?
There's so much change. That basically fixed it. Wow.
Fantastic. So it's really as simple as that. If you follow those instructions and you follow the instructions that are in our booklet, you'll find that it's very, very easy to use the IceWave patches and get great pain relief using the clock method. And the IceWave patches are a phenomenal tool for helping to relieve headaches, so you don't have to suffer. And what we're going to be doing is simply applying the white patch on the right side of the body and the tan patch on the left side of the body, move them through a few different locations, and you're going to find that one of these locations is going to work absolutely great. So let's go ahead and start. Maddie, I understand that you have a headache.
Yeah, my head has been killing me for the last few days.
Okay, so what we're going to do is apply the IceWave patches at a few different points, and I just want you to let me know whether or not there's any change in the level of pain of your headache.
Okay, great.
So the first point is located on the hands, and this is a really easy point to find. When someone has a headache, most people are going to find that there is some pressure or some tension at this point, and we're simply going to apply the white patch on the right hand and the tan patch on the left hand. Many of you may recognize this point as being a very famous acupressure point for relieving headaches. We don't have to wait very long, and so Maddie, 0 is no pain, and let's say that you started at 10. Has there been any change in your headache?
A little bit, maybe to a 9 now, but it's still there.
Okay. Well, we're certainly not happy with that. We only got the headache down 1 point. So let's go ahead now and move the patches to the second point. We don't need to wait. Now this location is located on the back of the hand like this, on the wrist, and it's about 3 finger widths or so from the crease in the wrist. The white patch is on the right side and the tan patch is on the left side. So again, we only need to wait 5 or 10 seconds. Maddie, you started at a 10, and then that last location you came down to a 9. Has there been any change in your headache?
A little bit. Maybe now I'm at an 8.
Okay. So the headache came down a little bit, but we're still not satisfied. We'd like to get the pain level down more. So let's move to another location. Now we know that when people have headaches, they carry a lot of tension in their neck and shoulders. So why don't we try applying the patches to one of the points along the neck. Now, the good thing about this location is that it's really easy to find because you can really use any points along the sides of the neck. We can just start at the base of the neck like that and apply the white patch to the right side of the head and the tan patch to the left. So once again, we ask, 0 is no pain. You started at a 10. It came down a little bit to maybe an 8. And has there been any change?
Yeah, this helped a lot. I would say now my pain is down to a 4.
Okay, great. So the pain level's down to a 4, and now we have a choice to make. Usually what will happen is over the course of the next 20 minutes, the pain will continue to drop once you find an effective point like we just did. But let's say in this particular case we want to try one more location. We could leave the patches there on the side of the neck. Getting it down to a 4 is great, and it should continue to drop, but let's just try one more location. Another location that we'll find that will work very, very well for headaches is the right temples. And you'll sometimes see that people will massage their temples when they have headaches. So we are going to go ahead and apply the patches to the left and right temple. So Maddie, 0 is no pain. You started at a 10. We got down to a 4 on the last location. Has there been any change?
I'm to a 0 now. No
Down
more headaches.
down to a 0, and we have someone that's very happy, and we just helped relieve an annoying and really bad headache. So that's how you would use the IceWave patches, using the instructions in our booklet and moving through the different points to relieve a headache in about 2 or 3 minutes. We're going to talk about how to use the IceWave patches when someone is suffering with pain throughout their entire body. Now, very often, this is going to be the case when someone has an injury or someone's been suffering with something for a number of years or a number of months, but it's not a recent injury. So you can think about it that way when you're going to apply the patches. The first thing that you're going to do is start by applying the patches at the bottom of the feet at the location shown. Now, another thing that you can keep in mind is that when you're first getting started with LifeWave and you want to use the IceWave patches and you may not be sure about where to apply them on the bottom of the feet. We found that location to really be amazing. So you'll have one set of IceWave patches on the bottom of the feet. The next thing is to apply a second set of IceWave patches at one of the locations that's in our instructions. Now, a good place to start is right up over here on the back of the wrist. We have found that this location helps to relieve pain throughout the entire body, when used in combination with those points on the bottom of the feet. Now, just like our other patch placements, what we would want to do is find out if there was any change in the level of pain. So, Maddie, 0 is no pain, and you started at a 10. Has there been any change in the level of pain?
There's been a little bit of change. I would say my pain is now at an 8.
Pain is at an 8. Okay. Now what we're going to do is move the patches to the next location, and that's going to be on the inside of the elbow, right at this point here. And we don't need to wait very long. So 0 is no pain, and you started at a 10, then it came down to an 8. Has there been any change in your level of pain?
Yeah, I would say now my pain is at a 5.
At a 5, okay. If we left the patches there, the chances are that the pain is going to continue to reduce. Getting 50% pain relief in about a minute is awfully good, but let's try one other location and see if we can reduce the pain even more. So we're going to remove the patches, and you'll notice that we're only using half of the adhesive. The reason for this is so that we can move the patches around very easily. Now, another location that I like when people have pain throughout the body is right up on top of the neck and shoulders. And a lot of people, of course, they carry their tension in their shoulders. So we find when you apply the patches there, it really gets great results. But let's find out. So Maddie, 0 is no pain. You started at a 10. It came down a little bit. How are you doing now?
Now I feel great. I think my pain's at a 0. It's gone.
Fantastic. So we're not going to do any better than a 0, so we would remove the backing on those patches and we would affix them to the skin, and then she, of course, could celebrate that she's out of pain. And this is really a wonderful gift that you can give to someone, so I would encourage you to practice these techniques. They work fantastic. We have over 70 clinical studies that document the effectiveness of these patches. And the important thing is that you can change someone's life today for the better with IceWave.